And I thought about what to talk about for the first ever video where I reveal my identity, and I cannot think of a better way to start this phase of my creator journey by just sharing the lessons I've learned over the past 4 years as a creator. Because during this time, I've rebranded once and explored numerous content topics. Now 4 years later, 40,000 of you support me across multiple platforms. So it started with a 0-follower Instagram account during the early days of the pandemic, like many creators in our cohort. And it's been quite a ride. But first of all, I want to thank you all so much for your support, because without your support, I'm just writing stuff to myself. While that might be meaningful, it's nowhere near as meaningful if you're not really influencing a growing audience on a day-to-day basis. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Big creators will tell you to prioritize content value. They're right to a certain extent, but in reality, both content and delivery are important to succeed on social media. So if you want to be a creator, you have two big angles you can attack, which I call the 2 E's. Either you educate or you entertain. I started with entertainment, but eventually pivoted to education. Today, I do both. Being an entertainer is more fun, but as a founder, education can solve real audience problems and put meals on the table. It's unlikely what you want to say hasn't been said on the internet. So you have to differentiate either through your delivery, whether that's how you organize the information or how you visualize the information for people who just don't want to read the text. Now, here is the good news. You are more unique than you might think. I'm bilingual and I have studied Spanish and Japanese for 4 years each. I've lived in Asia, New York, and San Francisco Bay Area, and I keep up with both American and East Asian pop culture. And I unfortunately have worked in many industries and have analyzed and invested in companies across various sectors as a generalist. No one can exactly replicate my life perspective and my professional experience. And that's my creator mode. The corporate world might frown upon someone with a non-linear narrative like mine. But for the same reason, I have thrived as a creator, allowing me to grow my audience who wants different things for their own purposes. All that is to say is there is a place for you as a creator if you execute. So leaning to your strength and learn new skills to expand your capabilities over time. For example, I learned graphics design when I started as an Instagrammer, and I still receive constructive feedback on my choice of colors and layouts from an early supporter who is now a good friend. I learned to do video editing when I branched out to YouTube, and now I had to learn HTML and JavaScript to build paid products, which is the job board. If you want to grow and earn more, you have to upskill. No one will do it for you. In a startup, the holy grail is product market fit. As a creator, to me, the idea is the same. You're seeking content audience fit, which is what established creators call finding your niche. In the beginning, you need to experiment a lot and see what sticks. So when you first start, don't overthink. And second, you need to use your brain to grow and adapt. For me, the first problem was the risk of saturating my niche, since equity research is such a small industry. So my struggle was to find an evergreen content pipeline and figure out what to do after gaining the attention of all equity research professionals globally. When I first started, I had one content pillar, which is humor about a day in the life of an equity research associate. Over time, I've developed more content pillars for Instagram. You have to constantly think about the big topic buckets when you can create content to entertain and educate. You are ultimately responsible for having the vision of what your brand can become as a creator and what new pillars you can add. Fortunately and unfortunately, most of you will give up at the first sign of slowing and stopping growth. It's not trivial. Not everyone will navigate the obstacles successfully. Some of it is really mental, some of it is intellectual. 2 years ago, when I left my hedge fund job, I decided to go full-time building a business on top of my social media. I didn't want to regret not trying to make something out of what I've built. It's quite terrifying, but I was at a low point in my career, which ironically made me fearless. When the risk reward was so asymmetric to the upside, it was the best time to take the risk, so I went. Because I cannot imagine someone making $500,000 a year at a company. It's 10 times harder for them to give that up and start from zero with no guarantee of success. I didn't quite succeed, but I have zero regrets about trying. There's probably a common misconception that you need a big audience to make money as a creator. That's not true at all. I have over 40,000 followers today across platforms, and I'm generating 5-figure revenue from just 1% on my followers. Certainly with an investor background, I realized this fact sooner than other people. Followership and revenue don't have to correlate. You can easily be a 300 follower creator with a 6-figure business if you create a high ticket product that customers are willing to buy. Or you can be a million follower creator relying solely on advertising revenue and see your business disappear because your revenue streams are so hit driven. The key is to think about what problems you can solve for your audience that they're willing to pay for. If you want to generate more revenue, you have to solve more problems for them. When I run into a first level thinker, they often ask me, "Oh, you online creator, how do you make money on the internet?" That's a wrong question to ask. The right question is how to grow an audience first. Building an audience is hard enough. Making money on the internet is even harder. Coming back to the startup analogy, most if not all startups create value first, then capture value. Create value is growing audience. Capturing value is building products where you can monetize. So think about how you can be of value to your audience first. The money will come if enough people have a problem that you are the one to be trusted to solve for them. For creators who already have an audience, we have the opposite problem compared to a regular business. In Silicon Valley at least, most businesses are started by people who are great at building products, but their problem is finding enough prospects to sell to. For us creators, we have prospects as followers, but we might not have products to sell to them. Everyone's product and business model will be different as a creator. You can learn from other creators. Many YouTubers make video on how they make money on the internet. There's a lot of transparency on that. Or you can read business books on side hustle, advertising, affiliate marketing, courses, Discord community, recruiting, in-person events, job boards, paywall newsletters, and so on. But the product you can offer has to be what your customers want, and they might not want everything I've just described. If you find the right product your customer is willing to pay for, you'll capture financial value. It's simple but not easy. And I will stop here because I haven't earned the right to give advice on how to capture financial value as a creator. I saw this statistic, 57% of Gen Zers said they want to become an influencer if given the opportunity. That's pretty sad. If you're young, it's hard for you to gain an audience from an educational angle. You just can't add much value as a creator because you don't have the professional expertise or life and career perspectives I have as an old man. It's not your fault. Your professional life hasn't even begun yet. For Gen Z, the route to become a creator tends to come from entertainment angle. The market will decide if you earn a spot there, and the barrier to entry for entertainment angle is much lower. Yet, everybody wants to become Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is obsessive about the game. Are you? He spends millions of dollars on the production of a single video. He also invests heavily in just optimizing the thumbnail for click-through rates. It's all hard work and capital intensive. So many young creators resort to posting low-value content just to gain attention, hoping one of those videos go viral. Or worse, they post controversial content. Unfortunately, negativity does tend to trigger engagement, and those controversial content goes viral, gets more attention. That creates serious social problems. In the end, I will not suffer because I have the judgment to know these are controversial contents. But the younger generation will develop a very skewed view of many things. So please don't aspire to be a creator. And by the way, many industries follow the power law, where a big portion of the value is created and captured by a very small percent of the people in the industry. Top athletes get a significant percent of total salary paid to the players in the league. For example, I did some rough math for the NBA. The top 50 paid players in the NBA, which is 9% of the total player count, they make 37% of the total salaries paid to all NBA players. And it works the same way with social media creators. Top influencers capture most of the financial value in this growing industry. Yes, it is a tailwinded industry, but it's hyper competitive, which tends to be true for all industries that are nascent. And most of us creators are just eating breadcrumbs because social media is about fighting for attention, which is not that different from traditional media. The only difference is the method of distribution has changed a lot over the last 20 to 30 years because of the rise of the internet. But what hasn't changed is everybody only still has 24 hours in a day, and you have to earn their attention. What that means is most of you will not make Mr. Beast money. You should know that now. And instead, you should learn to solve a problem and be of value, whether it's at work to your boss or building a real product and business. There are always going to be a lot of problems on this planet that need solving. They won't be easy to solve, but someone needs to solve them. That someone could be you. And if you succeed, you can capture more financial value than you could ever create as an influencer. And this I want to be a YouTuber trend isn't really new. I've seen this movie before. Before the 2008 financial crisis, quantitative finance had a lot of hype. But you know how many PhDs I work with in the middle office in financial services? Hundreds of them. And some of them could have achieved breakthrough in academia or business, but they were lured by the big pay to design what a MIT professor called financial weapons of mass destruction. And when those weapons blew up the global economy, you as the taxpayer ended up paying the price. And I see a parallel with this influencer dream because media loves to portray instant successes and the winner of power loss. But the world doesn't need that many creators. What it does need are people who can create products and services to make people's life better, to help people live longer, and to reduce suffering. Not that I need everyone to believe social media is real, but people better take notice because more and more established creators are building real businesses on top of their following. And corporations also understand that successfully building their social media presence can dramatically lower their customer acquisition costs because it's organic. I listened to Gary Vee saying how corporations lack in effective social media marketing strategies compared to creators. Yes, social media has its negative sides, but its power as a brand building and distribution mechanism is here to stay. I'm making this point because it's based on my own experience. I live in the United States where people love to ask what you do professionally as a first question. When I tell them I'm a full-time creator, I always get this skeptic look. But sometimes it will be nice for people beside my audience, which is you, to show a little bit more appreciation for the impact we can create for both you and ourselves. That's all. No one expected the release of ChatGPT, which has been entirely positive for me actually. But I believe what will continue to differentiate is just being you. That's actually one of the main reasons I decided to reveal my identity, because being anonymous has had to hinder my growth as a creator, and more importantly, as a business founder. And as a mass media person, I understand I cannot please everyone. I have blocked and ignored many people for many reasons. There will always be people who judge your credibility solely based on your work experience and credential in the field you try to address. My advice for you is to don't worry about the haters. Focus on showcasing your intrinsic knowledge. The market is ultimately the arbiter of whether you know what you're talking about and whether what you say has value. The haters neither decide that, nor do they pay your bills. Some of you told me my style is very harsh and too truthful. But at the same time, many of you praise me for the same quality. Why am I so harsh? Well, because the investment research industry is skill-based. If you don't know what you're doing, you will not get a job. The market decides that. I'm not in the business of making you feel better. I'm in the business of painting you a realistic picture of what it takes, helping you over-prepare so you first get a job and second, thrive in the profession. If you suck and I tell you you will be fine, you will still fail. I give you a reality check and tell you what it actually takes because the reality will not change and it will hit you like a freight train. My personal friends and ex-colleagues already know I love giving people life lessons, sometimes even forcing it on them. And thanks to the internet, now I can share these life lessons to a mass audience. That's a privilege. Unless you have a radical angle as a creator, you can really make a positive impact on a large scale because I know a lot of you could use my help, free or paid. And creating value makes me feel good because any creator and business founder has a genuine desire to solve a problem before thinking about making money off their audience or customers. Because of my niche in investment management, I have the extra privilege of attracting and making friends with some of the smartest supporters. I made friends with many wonderful people who have become my advisors and mentors. And because I understand the power of reciprocity, I always try to give them free value. But the irony is, they also tend to be the very ones who pay me just to show their support. And meanwhile, of course, on a daily basis, I deal with those who ask me for free things without adding any value to me. If you have been a long-term follower, you know nothing bothers me more than someone who claims to love investing but expect information to come to them. And the same thing applies to social media creator. You don't have to do it alone. Big creators have created content to help you. You just have to go find them, listen, and execute. When I first started on Instagram, I learned by doing. But to become a multi-platform creator and to institutionalize processes, I turned to the big shots like Ali Abdaal, Vanessa Lau, and the folks at Think Media. As a business founder, I've gained invaluable insights from Justin Welch. Like a startup, the creator journey can feel lonely at times, but you're not alone. There are plenty of help available from other creators, even if you don't know them personally. You can find so much information to grow if you are resourceful. If you are not, no amount of paid resources will save your lazy rear end. There's only one lasting connection between you and me. That's email. Social media platforms are businesses, and they won't hesitate to change the rule of the game, even if it hurts you as a creator. Never forget that. Don't take it personally. It's just business, like how pro athletes get traded all the time. I told the story of I didn't grow my Instagram following for an entire year until I figured it out. It's like capitalism. Either you adapt or you die, because the platform won't come and save you. Unless you have your audience's email addresses, you're essentially renting their attention. And if you want to stay connected with me, by the way, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter so I have your email. And bookmark my website, because if tomorrow all the social media platforms were forced to shut down, you won't hear from me again unless you're my newsletter subscriber. That was the reason why I diversified early by going multi-platform. It was an proactive effort to future-proof against a situation where I cannot control my destiny. And look at what's happening with TikTok right now. Yes, to go multi-platform, you need to upscale, but you can leverage your time by repurposing the content across multiple platforms. So your time spent is not linearly increasing with the number of platforms you want to be on. For example, I learned to create long-term content and repackage it into shorts for short-form platforms. It broadens my reach without multiplying the time spent. And you know where I learned that trick? It's from Vanessa Lau. As I said before, it's not a lonely journey if you have experts like her guiding aspiring creators like myself. With all that said, you should consider becoming a creator, not just to learn valuable business skills, but to build meaningful connections with like-minded individuals who can become friends and mentors. Being a creator teaches you accountability and consistency. If you're on Instagram, for example, you own your audience content daily. If you don't, you lose creative momentum and you risk losing followers the moment you stop posting. Yes, you're on this hamster wheel, but that is the game you sign up to play. I remember discussing this with Trades and Ray, the account that gave me the first significant growth, and he talked about the importance of consistency as well. To be frank, you can win just by being consistent, and Trades and Rays is not the only person who has said that. We had 5 to 6 accounts that started with me in the finance niche. I'm the only one left. Everyone else has given up. And what's my secret? You're not gonna like it. Hard work and use your brain. Again, it's simple, but not easy. Recurring theme here. You also learn how to sell, whether it's selling your ideas, products, or services. As a creator, you are the brand. And brand building is a highly transferable skill in the business world. Building trust with your audience is also crucial for business success. Being a creator naturally trains you in that skill. And you'll never know how your prior experiences will come in handy, because you are by definition starting from scratch. Whether as a creator or as an entrepreneur, you will need to wear many hats. It's as interdisciplinary as it can get. I never wanted to work in sell-side equity research, and today I became the ambassador of the profession. It's quite ironic, isn't it? Also, ironically, I learned all my invaluable lessons for being a creator and an entrepreneur from my sell-side research MD, because without having worked in equity research, there will not be richer told. You should create content on the internet because someone might just benefit from what you have to say. Don't focus too much on the fame and money, because success will come naturally if you're genuinely good at what you do. But prioritizing those motives up front can lead to big disappointment. For those of us without technical programming skills, the creator economy offers a capital-light, low-risk way to learn how to build something from nothing and acquire skills that are transferable to a successful corporate career or entrepreneurship. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next 2 videos on the next screen. Talk to you next time. Peace.